This is the Poco F6. We all know how great of a value this phone is in terms of having that flagship-like experience without breaking the bank. In a few months, precisely in May, this will be 1 year old. While it has not met any sort of problem as far as my use case goes, it may be its last chance to be purchased, meaning we may not see the Poco F7. The thing about Poco and its parent company, Xiaomi, is that they cater to two main markets, China and the rest of the world. Since all of their devices are made in China, their home market always gets the latest and newest devices first. The global release follows suit after several months. If you follow the tech news, Chinese models get different naming schemes compared to global models. While the rest of the world gets the devices a little bit later than China, there is an advantage to this type of release since, more often than not, Chinese models get rebranded for the global market, meaning we are getting nearly identical phones but with a different name and some tweaks in the feature set to make it more friendly to non-Chinese users. This brings me then to the rumors floating around on the internet regarding the upcoming Poco F7 lineup. Based on recent certifications, the names Poco F7 Pro and F7 Ultra have appeared, and it is rumored that they are the already released Redmi K80 and Redmi K80 Pro in China. If you take a look at the specs of each device, neither of the two is in line with the Poco F6. The main giveaway here is the chipset. The F6 Pro is running Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, while the upcoming F7 Pro is going to use the newer model Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. On the other end, the F6 is running on Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. Regardless of the generation, the Snapdragon 8S and Snapdragon 8 are not the same. The Snapdragon 8 is significantly superior in GPU performance, and it is marketed for higher-end devices such as the F6 Pro. The reason why we may not get a non-Pro, non-Ultra Poco F7 is the lack of chipset to use while keeping the cost relatively low. There's basically no successor to the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. With that said, all signs point to the Poco X7 Pro. The Poco X7 Pro is more likely the Poco F7 in disguise. A full review of that phone will come soon, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see that. The Poco X7 Pro is a rebranded Chinese model of the Redmi Turbo 4, which is an entirely different lineup. However, check the specs of the Poco F6 and the Poco X6 Pro. See any similarities? Well, there's a lot. The technical specs of the cameras are the same, from the 50 megapixel main shooter to the 20 megapixel front camera. The same goes for the display. But the dead giveaway here is the design. Look at how similar the two devices are in terms of camera placement and design. The only real difference between the two, outside of the incremental upgrades such as the battery and charging speed, is the chipset. Instead of a Snapdragon chip, you're getting a Dimensity 8400 Ultra. In all fairness, the 8400 is actually faster and better in terms of raw performance. As far as support goes, like camera processing and software compatibility with emulators and such, Snapdragon almost always has the upper hand. With that being likely the case, how do you decide which to get? Well, if you're a Poco F6 owner, there's no reason to upgrade or switch. The same applies to the F5 owners if you don't feel the need to upgrade. If you're coming from F4, you either go for the F6 or the X7 Pro. The advantage of the X7 Pro is that it's more affordable, has 1 year longer major Android OS support, and has a bigger battery. However, if you value or need better software compatibility, the F6 continues to be a great buy to this day, and that's to be expected. While it's still stuck on HyperOS 1.0, it's only a matter of time until 2.0 arrives, and it'll only make the experience much better. As for the Poco X7 Pro, the price is really tempting, especially when you consider its early bird selling. But that's going to be in another video. Let me know if you also want to see a comparison between the F6 and the X7 Pro. I think that's going to be interesting. That's it for this one. Drop a sub or like if you like supporting the channel. And as always, until the next one, stay safe.